This is an RPPV production. We'd like to advise this podcast contains descriptions of disturbing violence. Listener discretion is advised. And welcome back.
Hi, everyone.
To I Think My Fridge is Haunted.
Ooh.
So
A
haunted.
very creepy podcast.
So creepy.
How are you guys going? Oh, that's good. Gemma, how are you going?
Yeah, I'm rad, actually. I am almost over my cold, which is rad. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I've been sick. Like, I'm literally like a poor Victorian child at this point.
Have you gone and sat on the beach?
See, look, I don't know how they afforded it back in the 20s. I really don't. All these jaunts to the beach. I don't have £600 worth of stocks, you see.
Well, I have a beach towel you could borrow.
Cheers.
Okay, well, guys, welcome back to another week. We're going to talk about, we've got another survival story, and then we've got some spooky ghosts. And what's
It's
yours
a bit
to-
ghost. It's a bit, it's,
It's a bit of everything. We've got a combination of a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I don't even know what it's about, but that's the vibe.
Yeah. So
Housekeeping.
my mind,
housekeeping.
yeah, my mind is still blown about all those Furbies from last episode.
Well, we found out our producer actually has one at her house that she didn't tell us about.
Well, she had it until recently.
She sold it for $25.
and
so
it was
it's on the
given to
peninsula
her-
somewhere, right?
It was given to her a year ago.
It's circulating.
So they are still around. And it was found at a secondhand shop.
So it's vintage.
I am keeping my eyes out for Furbies.
Don't, please.
Shall I get one for the desk in the studio?
Oh, let's do it. Oh,
Can you
merch.
imagine if it like suddenly started like talking like when we were recording?
Oh, let's do it. Oh,
But that directs the aliens to us.
that's okay. I want to meet one.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Okay, I quit. That's not me. That's our producer. Bye.
See ya.
No, we need you. We
No,
really
please,
need you.
please stay.
We really need you. help us. Help us. Housekeeping. So last week when I did the Furby thingo, I said FAA, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. But it now means Federal Aviation Administration. So it is legit, guys.
yeah,
Everything
yeah.
I said is 100% factual.
Yeah, like the big people are worried.
Yeah. I had a visitor. No, I shouldn't mess around with Men in Black. That'll be another. If you guys don't know about Men in Black, don't research them yet because
We're going to
will tell
talk
you
about them. Oh my
Okay?
God, Men in Black.
Oh,
I love Men in Black.
I am obsessed. And not Will Smith and the white guy. No, we're talking real Men in Black, creepy,
Actual, the
creepy
real
stuff.
story, like Indrid Cold.
Scary.
Like, and how it, like Men in Black are associated with Mothman, one of our other
Yeah.
favorite things.
Oh, guys.
As well.
It doesn't stop. They're all connected. They're all mates.
They're all connected.
They're all mates. Yeah. So
Probably mates with the Furbies.
and bunyips, which will be in
Always
another
with
episode.
The bunyips with you.
God, they're scary. They're our Australian cryptid.
I never go to sleep worrying about bunyips.
Yeah, and the frog
don't know
person. Did you
anyone
ever
who-
learn about the frog person
Of
of I don't know Australia?
what?
There was I remember hearing a story of this frog person that would come in and it would tickle you as you slept, and if you giggled, then it would kill you, or if you just pretended you were asleep, it would let you go. I was petrified of the frogman.
Who told you about
I
this?
can't remember, but it used to be a thing, and like as a kid, I'd almost rehearse it in my head. If someone comes and tickles me, I just have to deal with it.
I think someone hired an evil babysitter at some point during your childhood. That sounds like something I would do. Someone ruined
I do
your
tell
life
strangers
thinking
on
it
the-
was funny at the time.
Yeah, no, I do tell things like this to child strangers on the street, in McDonald's, and like
go to sleep or the frogman will come and tickle you.
Yeah.
The Frogman of Frankston.
Oh,
The
mate.
Frankston Frogman.
Oh, I've seen a few of them. I'm pretty sure one used to teach me. Shout out to my high school. I hate you. Okay.
Well, if there's anything about the Frogman online or nay a documentary, I want to know about it.
Yes. That'll be a topic that we will.
I've heard
cover.
about a Frogman in America.
Oh yeah, this is the cryptid that is like has a head of a frog and he's about
I mean, he's humanoid, but he's
Yeah,
like
I've
a
heard of
frog,
him too.
and they will like run across the road. And
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I've heard of that one too.
Yeah.
It's actually quite sad because didn't like stories of Americans trying to gun it down and stuff and they succeeded and
That's what people do.
it's so shocking. Don't kill
If
things.
there's something like that's a little bit different or a monster.
I
what
know,
do they
it's
do? They
shocking.
grab their
Elephant
guns
Man.
and they go running after them.
Anyway, facts from the fridge.
Oh my god, that's
Dun,
from the
dun,
fridge.
dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god. Okay, go cool. So, ooh, hang on.
Uh-oh. Oh, guys, she's
I've
flicking
gotta
through the
find
pages.
I've got to find my
The
facts.
suspense. Better be good.
Cleveland, Ohio has the most serial killers of any city.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Mm.
Oh, I'm gonna let's go on, guys. Patreon, pay for a holiday for us to go to Ohio, Cleveland.
I've got a feeling if we did get any money, you just do this like big high tech research team to go find a bunyip.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if we had funding to go somewhere to investigate something, I don't know that I would go to Ohio.
I'd go to Jean-Benet Ramsey's house.
Really? What, and just stand outside?
Yeah, with like a little magnetic device or something, measuring all the shit in the air. Be like, oh, let's go.
Oh, for ghostly
There's
reasons.
a child ghost.
Last month when I was in the UK, I went to
Yeah, you did.
The West's house.
That's amazing.
Well, what used to be the West house.
Yeah. So what is there?
Okay, so what happened was we were just by chance driving through Gloucester and we had to get a hire car.
Yeah.
And I said to my husband, oh my God, Gloucester, you know what's in Gloucester. And I put into my maps in the phone, I put in Cromwell Street.
Yeah.
And it says 7 minutes away.
Oh.
So I tap my husband on the phone and I'm like, look at this.
Oh.
And he rolls his eyes. And I'm like, we have to go,
You
let's
have
go.
to go.
So we drive over there and it was really weird. Like, it's actually in quite a nice area. And so there's like some really nice houses and then there's like a memorial park across the road that's like a really nice place. It's like a World War
Directly
I,
across the road from their house.
kind of adjacent.
Yeah.
And then we were like, where is it? And we go, oh, it's that street. We just passed it, that like little narrow, tiny
Yeah.
street. It's
Tiny.
like so small, you'll miss it. And there's no street sign. So,
I wonder if that's like that on purpose.
when we were there was another guy there that was walking up the street and he was like following his maps.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So another kind of like murder, historian was there. And
Story.
but the street itself, it's the most depressing.
Yeah.
Just
Just a normal street.
I would say it's not even a normal street. It's really run down and it just has this
A weird vibe.
I felt so depressed after we went there. I just felt really sad.
Whoa.
And where the house was, it's just a walkway. So the house itself was demolished.
So you walked over the...
Dude, I didn't even get out of the car.
You didn't get out? You didn't stand in the spot where the house was at?
No. I thought I was going to, but I was just like, no, I don't like this.
Weird.
I don't like this place. It's got really bad energy. And so this walkway, I was even expecting, because I knew it had been demolished, but I was expecting it to be like a nice garden, like a memorial garden or something like that. There's nothing there. It's just grass on either side and a walkway down the middle. There was like this, like a discarded mattress. It was all overgrown. There was nothing. I felt so sad that nothing had been put there to commemorate the victims. But it was just like, I don't know, just people were walking down the street and they just looked really kind of sad and tired
Well, it
and
would
stuff.
ruin their town.
I don't know. I thought that street was cursed. It
Totally.
just didn't have a normal air about it.
I'd love to go to a location of a murder house. Like, not just because there are a lot of murder houses, but like a house that had horrific multiple murders.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
I've heard
That's
of stories
what I said
of,
before,
yeah.
and then I went there and I was just like,
Just got a bad feeling.
I just felt awful all day. It was so weird.
It kind of reminds me of John Wayne Gacy's house in America.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people will travel there to take a photo out the front of the house. But like cab drivers and Uber drivers and stuff now, just as soon as you plug in that location, they will refuse to take you because the townspeople are so sick of it.
So they don't want to
They're
direct
just like,
any more
nah,
attention at it.
I'll drop you 10 minutes away from the house. I'm not
And you can walk.
taking you down that street.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like a common thing.
So the house is still there?
No, I think they bulldozed it. But
Okay.
I think there's just a plot of land. But the Gacy house is super, super popular for like murder fans and
Yeah, I bet it would
fans.
be. I bet it would be. Where can you go then? Where would you want to go?
There's a whole heap. I'd like to go to Ariel Castro's. That's demolished.
Yes. Is it?
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, awful things happen there.
I would love to see the Amityville Horror House.
Oh my God.
Would love to just even have a tour there.
Yeah.
Heaps of places.
Yeah.
I'd love to see where Ed Gein lived.
The Castro House, wasn't that in Ohio?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Facts are lining up.
Yeah.
Do you want my fact?
Do you want to save it for halftime or?
Well, my story's pretty long, so I reckon I'm just going to spit it out now.
Okay.
Mine's pretty similar to what we were just talking about anyway.
Okay, cool.
Jeffrey Dahmer didn't eat people with tattoos. Apparently, he said the ink made the flesh taste weird.
Really?
Which I don't know is legit, but like I
How
think
would
of his
he know
victims.
that though?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he didn't really eat their skin, did he? No, it was the meat. It was just like small parts of the meat.
He must have eaten someone with tattoos, and he must have thought, this one tastes weird. What's this body got that none of the other ones had? Ooh, tattoos. But it might have had nothing to do with that. It might have that person ate like loads of asparagus or something.
Yeah. Especially because like the penis is directly linked to asparagus eating.
Is it?
Yeah, if you eat asparagus, it makes your urine super strong or something.
Yeah, okay.
And he was all for penis meat. So we don't... You know what? John, what's your name? Jeffrey Dahmer, if you're listening, send us an email. Let us know if penis meat tastes different if it's tattooed.
Yeah, I just don't think I know he killed a lot of people, but I just don't think his research group was actually wide enough. You know, like, you know,
A lot of the guys that he did murder were quite young. His youngest was, 14 or something?
I think he's full of crap.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the website I got it from was pretty crap.
Was it what was it? Spaceman 666 again?
No. I love it. Okay, guys. This story, trigger warnings. Let's see. Minor trigger warnings. It isn't that violent, or it's not a heavy hitter episode or anything, but it is a crazy story that I was like, this chick is the coolest chick. I love her. She is badass.
We love badass women here.
Yeah, it's just so good. So I really wanted to tell it.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Settle in, guys. This is the story of Suzanne Walters.
Suzanne Walters. Would I know this story?
No.
Okay. Cool.
Gonna
Go
regret
ahead.
that if you know it. Okay. So let's see. Okay, let's start with a 911 call that was received, starting with a caller describing an intruder in their house in Portland, Oregon on the 6th of September, 2006.
Okay.
They found the intruder with a hammer. The woman living there says she had strangled him, the intruder. The 911 dispatcher asked to speak to the woman in the home, but the caller says she can't as she's bleeding. 911 dispatcher asks if the woman needs an ambulance, and the caller says no, the lady is a nurse, but says call an ambulance for the guy because he may be dead.
Okay.
The dispatcher asks what weapon did the woman use to kill the intruder, and the caller says she strangled him What else did she do? She put a chokehold on him. 911 says, I have help on the way, stay on the line. And the caller says, she has a hammer here as well. 911 says, don't touch it, just leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
Caller says, she hit him in the head several times. That's the hammer he had with him. She struck him and then she strangled him and she thinks he's dead. So here is the backstory. A woman named Susan Kuhnhausen on the 6th of September 2006 was coming home from a shift as a nurse at the emergency department at her local hospital. Your girl is going through a rough time. She's in the middle of trying to get a divorce, so she treats herself with a little pampering by getting her hair done at the local salon.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, you know how you feel when you're just like, I'm getting my hair done in 3 weeks because I'm just like, I need some pampering.
Do a before and after photo.
Oh.
They're always fun.
Yeah.
I love going to the salon. I save up to go to the salon.
So
I love it.
This is like taking like 3 weeks worth of my wage to save up for this haircut.
Aww.
So it better be good. Suzanne grew up in a family with parents that weren't the best example of a healthy marriage. They separated when Suzanne was in the 2nd grade, so divorce life wasn't a new thing for Susan. Her life as a kid moved from town to town due to her parents also working in the military. So that meant different schools, new friends, moving between both parents, etc. As like a lot of divorced kids know, bouncing from mum to dad.
But no Furbies.
Oh my God. She graduated from school, then worked towards becoming a registered nurse. So she had her goals. She was like, I'm going to get a career.
A woman of the world, like our Emily.
Exactly. It all relates. A little while later, her mother and friend, this is kind of funny, decided to surprise Susan by paying for a personal ad in the local paper, quoting, someone different, SWF, which stands for single white female, 33, overweight but not over life.
That's my new tagline.
I love it.
Cheers. Happy birthday.
Seeks an SM, which is single male, who wants more out of a relationship than just, quote, slender, which I thought is cute. At first I thought of Slender Man and I'm like, that can't be right. But I think it means like you want more out of a relationship than just having a skinny, like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird thing to write.
I think what she's trying to say is
she's more than her looks.
Yeah, she's not looking for someone who's really materialistic.
Yeah, there we go. Which aren't we all?
Mm.
One of the replies they got was from a man named Mike, quoting, my name is Mike. I'm a 39-year-old divorced DWM, which means divorced white male. I enjoy things in nature, from wandering in the ape caves, whatever that is, at Mount St. Helens to walking on the beach at sunset. What are ape caves? That's what I want to know. This man's name was Michael Kuhnhausen. Spoiler alert, they get married.
Okay.
Mike grew up in Portland, Oregon, and was an adopted child in 1948 as a newborn. So he was adopted. We don't know his past. Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Well, he was a newborn, so he doesn't really have much of a past, hey. So, I mean, when you think about it, it doesn't really have that like crazy history because he's probably just been born.
Resume, nothing.
Susan first spoke to Mike over the phone on the 30th of January, 1988. And from the get-go, Mike was already telling lies. Little bitch.
Trifling.
Mm-hmm. He told Susan that he had seen combat in Vietnam, but was in fact a switchboard operator. She later found out. So he was already exaggerating.
Yeah.
They went on their first date in February 1988, feeding ducks and squirrels, lol, which I think is a random mix of animals. But, I mean, in Australia, it would probably be seagulls and rats. Fast.
In my house, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have rats.
Yeah.
Within a year, they went to Reno, Nevada, and got married. And literally almost immediately after getting married, the romance just completely left and things just changed.
This guy.
He would do things like burp when Susan tried to kiss him. He was a chain smoker. He just lived entirely off Diet Coke. And he was just being a grot. Like, sure, you can relax in front of your partner, but the whole just becoming a complete slob and just stopping the...
There's no respect.
Yeah, and just like completely stopping making effort, I think is a real downer.
I feel really bad now because as soon as I walk in the house, I put my pajamas on. But I mean, that guy crosses the line. But you know.
And I go through like tubs of Nutella a week, and Jackson's so allergic to nuts. So really, I'm like bringing a threat into the house every week. Susan was quoted as saying, "It wasn't very long after getting married that there was no more hiking, no more getting out," which I think is kind of sad.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
He sucked her in.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, totally. That's what it was like, sucking someone in.
Yeah.
After a few years, Mike got a job as a janitorial supervisor for Oregon Entertainment, which was the parent company of Fantasy Adult Video.
Okay.
Now, am I saying Oregon right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it sounds.
Oregon.
It's a weird word. Their life together was unhappy and uneventful. Mike's common motto to Suzanne was, "Life is a shit sandwich, and every day you take another bite until you die."
That's so terrible. What a dickhead.
That's just a visual right
Dude,
there.
unfriend him. Block him. Oh my God. This guy.
Yeah, he's gross. So he was a massive bummer. Even monitoring her spending, even though she worked hard and earned her own money. Complaining about even the minor purchases, which is just such a dick move. So after 17 years of being... 17
years?
she put up with this crap. I don't know how she didn't go crazy.
Ugh.
She finally was like, all right, it's over. She said, "I cared about him, but I didn't want to live with him anymore. I wanted to be happy again," which was sad, I think, really sad.
Yeah.
In September 2005, she told him to move out and Mike moved in with his dad. Unfortunately, after Mike moved, Susan didn't change the locks to her place or the code to the security system.
Bad move. You got to double tap, man. Change those locks.
Exactly.
Just because he's out doesn't mean he's gone.
Exactly, right? Okay, so this brings back to the night of the break-in with the 911
The situation.
call. Yeah. After work, Susan spent an hour or so getting her hair did. She then headed back to her house. She got home around 6:37, went into the mud room. I don't know what a mud room is.
Okay, so that's like, you know how we have like a laundry room at the side of the house, and it's where you come into the house at like the side door, and there's like linoleum floor.
Oh, okay.
Or like tiled floor, and it's where you can take, say, for example,
I
it's
like
winter
that.
there. It's like Oregon, I think, does it snow there or something? So say she's got like snowy boots or something like that.
You can just kind of stomp them off and not worry about...
She can just stomp them off in the laundry room.
I love that.
Americans call it a mud room.
Mud room. I really like that. Really like that. Okay, so that was at the rear of the house. And then as she entered the house, she found a note left by Mike saying, "Sue, haven't been sleeping, had to get away, went to the beach. See you on Friday or Saturday. Love me." Ugh.
P.S. burp.
Ew, yeah, I can smell the burp. Susan then unlocked the kitchen door and she hears the beeping of the security code. So she disarms it, enters her house, then went back outside to grab the mail.
Hang on, where was the note?
It was in the kitchen near the microwave.
So she went in the house
she went
and then
in,
she went
she saw
out.
the note, then the alarm system started beeping, so she went back, I think, to the door and then
got the
disarmed
mail.
it.
And then got the mail.
And then she went outside, got mail, and then came back and put mail back in the kitchen on the bench. Let's see. So now she's in the kitchen. She puts the mail down, and from behind her, the bedroom is behind her, a figure of a man appears and immediately attacks her. Yeah. Now this guy, his name was Ed Haffey. He was 59 years old, standing 5.9 inches. He was 190 pounds, was wearing a blue striped shirt, tan baseball hat that was pulled right over his face, covering his eyes. He had long, messy grey hair with a filthy grey beard and wore yellow rubber gloves, like kitchen gloves. He was also holding a red and black hammer, and it was one of those claw hammers that you use to pry nails out of like the so
wall
it's a
or
pretty
something.
gnarly weapon in itself.
Yeah.
As soon as Susan saw him, she screamed, "Who are you? What do you want?" But this creepy dude never answered. He just kept advancing on her. Now, Susan was only 4 inches. She's really strong and stocky. Like if you Google her, she is overweight. She's like a little,
But not over life.
but not over life. Obviously, from this survival story.
Exactly. He didn't read the personal ad. This dude.
Exactly. God, Ed.
Do your
Ed
research.
Yeah.
Half.
And she was actually trained in disarming people. And she took regular self-defense classes because she was an emergency nurse.
Mm-hmm.
She knew how to handle people who were in fits of like drug-induced rage.
Of
She
course.
knew how to. She could like crack open a chest if she needed to do heart
Holy cow.
stuff. You know, crazy stuff. So she was strong. She was real tough.
Cool.
So anyway, Ed started swinging the hammer and struck Susan in the head and face. But despite this, she still was able to fight him off. The first hammer blow hit Susan in the left temple, and when he went to strike again, Suzanne pulled a move that was actually really, really crazy. Instead of backing off, she crowded him, and which, I mean, when you think about it, you'd have more of a...
It's like when you walk around a horse. So you're supposed to stay close to them because then they don't have the momentum of the kick.
Yeah, and you also keep your hands on them and stuff so they know where you are. But
yeah,
I mean, you can't really get a momentum up from a close range.
Exactly.
Yeah, so like to have that knowledge to run towards the person who's attacking you was nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. Talk about fight or flight.
Exactly.
How cool is
she
that?
quoted as saying, I knew the swings would have less force if I was closer to him. She also ends up biting him, intentionally leaving marks, saying, if I died, I wanted it to be known that I fought to live, which is awesome. After biting him, they both fell to the floor, and Susan then tried to disarm him. They're both fighting over this hammer now. Then Ed pushed her up against a wall and said, "You're strong." And apparently as soon as he said that, she just felt such rage. And she also knew that he wasn't here to rape her. He wasn't here to rob her. He was here to kill her.
Yeah.
So I think that completely clicked in her head, and she was like, all right, this is like between life and death.
Yeah.
So at this point, she wasn't backing down despite being hit twice in the head. She was still trying to wrestle the hammer from him and eventually got the hammer, which she doesn't know how she did it, but she managed to pull this hammer out of this guy's hand.
She must have been in so much pain.
She's crazy. She then swung it 3 to 4 times, striking the claw end of the hammer into his skull. But he managed to snatch the hammer back. So
this is like some serious like ninja fight.
It is like a Tarantino scene. It reminds me of the scene in Kill Bill.
Oh, with the cereal?
Yeah, with the cereal, and in the scene when they're in the trailer, and it's that the scene when she's trying to, the Hattori hunt the swords.
Yes.
And they've both got the swords, and she ends up plucking
the eyeball.
It's so good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, true.
So this is the part I love. So he's taken the hammer back, so she straight away just grabs his throat and just starts squeezing it as hard as she could. Oh my God. And meanwhile, as she's on top of him squeezing his throat, she's screaming, "Who sent you here?" Which I just love.
Oh my God.
She's just screaming in his face.
But you know what? This is really bad, but I'm thinking of Austin Powers when he's going, "Who does number 2 work for?" Yeah, like,
it's so like,
who sent you?
It's such a movie moment.
It's such a movie moment.
Like, that's when I heard this. I'm like, I love this story so much.
Yeah. And do you think he's scared at this point? Like, holy crap, what have I got myself into?
Well, turns out he was on so much cocaine that I think he wasn't even functioning.
Yeah.
He was just like pure adrenaline.
Okay.
He wouldn't answer. So this is a quote. He wouldn't answer. Then his face started turning red, then purple, then darker purple with a blue tinge. And that's when she freaked out and let go. And then she tried to run away. So she manages to run down the hallway, but Ed catches up to her and spins her around, punches her in the face. splits her lip, punches her again. She falls to the floor, and at this point, this is another quote, he was standing over me with the hammer. I looked at the floor and I thought, I'm going to die today. To this day, I had no idea how I did it. But Suzanne, that was another quote, sorry. Suzanne somehow managed to then pull him to the floor. This is another quote from Suzanne. I got to get that hammer, she told herself.
Yep.
Immediately, she starts biting him.
Oh my God.
This is the best part. Again, there's so many good parts. This time biting him to tie herself to him in case he did manage to kill her. They would be able to connect her bite marks to the wounds.
Wow.
She's like planning stuff.
Uh-huh.
She left bite marks on his arms, thigh, flank. This I love. She was biting him so hard that she managed to bite through his zipper to his penis. And she bit him on the penis.
Oh my God.
Through the zipper, which is so gross.
Oh.
Can you just like
she's on a mission
taste the denim and that metal on your teeth and then like I just love it.
She's like,
it's so good.
oh my God.
Straight to the dick. While she was biting him, she was also rummaging through his pocket searching for an ID that she could throw or hide under furniture in case police found it later.
She's thought of everything.
She's nuts. So she's being attacked, she's biting, and she's also like, okay.
Trying to identify
she's
him.
just trying
she's
to
putting
pin
her
him.
DNA on him. She's putting her teeth marks on him.
I love her. I love her. I love her.
Saying no.
She
Not
was quoted
today.
by saying, I was like a downed power line snapping on the pavement, which you can just imagine her just going crazy.
Yeah.
She then manages to straddle him, pinning him to the ground. She puts him into a chokehold and yells into his face again, tell me who sent you and I'll call a fucking ambulance for you.
Ooh. So
She's
got
like,
leverage
can you
now.
imagine her just like choking out this dude?
Yeah,
I love it. I love it with her new hairdo.
Yeah.
In her nurse scrubs. She's got a bleeding lip. She's just like, she's completely turned the situation into him being attacked. It's the best.
Wow.
This Ed guy didn't say anything. He just growled, which is gross. She then increases her chokehold until he stops moving completely. Once he stops moving, she drops him like a fucking badass. Sorry. Takes the hammer and goes to the neighbors, and that's when the neighbor calls 911. So she gets taken back to her work, which is the emergency room. She was like literally there 2 hours ago.
Do you think they did that thing where, you know, like when you leave the office for the day and then you kind of go back 2 minutes later because like, forgot my phone,
Yeah,
and people,
forgotten something.
yeah, and people will go, did you forget? Or didn't you? Or weren't you
She
just
comes
here?
in just with like
Back again already. You must really love us. Do you reckon they did that?
probably, and then they're like, girl, why are you still wearing your scrubs, you dirty thing? And then just like, oh no, oh my God. Now, once she's at the hospital, that's when she starts to put two and two together and wonders if it had anything to do with Mike. Because remember, at this point, Mike just kind of was like, I'm going out for the night. Because, I mean, they were splitting up, but they were still on talking terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she started to go, now this is...
That's when you kind of start to think, is the life insurance money going to go to him?
Yeah, this is where it gets a bit seedy.
Yeah.
So the day after the attack, Susan and her best friend Helen went back to her house to get some belongings, which is like props to her. I don't think I'd be able to go back. I mean, if you had pets, you definitely would, but
Yeah.
she's tough. She's like, she
You'd
ended
wanna
up killing this
You'd
guy.
want to get the essentials, but to be honest, I would just want to like get forensic cleaners in and just
Totally.
clean that house top to bottom, because it's almost like getting your car stolen. You just feel like it's not yours anymore.
Yeah, totally. You wouldn't want to live there again. I forgot to mention she killed Ed, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, she
Ed's dead.
killed him. So now it's turned into a crime scene.
Okay.
Not that it already wasn't, but now it's like there's been a murder.
Okay. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Ed.
Oh, yeah. While they were grabbing stuff, they found a backpack that didn't belong. So the police managed to skip this backpack because it was in the basement.
Yeah.
and it wasn't directly where all the action happened. So I think it would be hard as cops to know what was belongings and what was actual evidence in a house. They look in the backpack and there's some really random stuff, but turns out there was a container of Hershey syrup.
I love that stuff.
Which is really, I think, is super random. $200 cash, diabetes medication, a day book, and a pay stub made out to Haffey. This was the guy that attacked her.
Yes.
There was also an entry into the day book for Monday 4th, 2006 saying, call Mike. So there's your direct tie.
Yeah.
Idiot. There was also an envelope in the backpack with Mike's new phone number on it. So alarm bells.
Yeah.
Turns out Ed Haffey not only had a criminal record related to disposing of girlfriends. So to backtrack, his ex-girlfriend just happened to be murdered, and there was he went to jail for conspiracy to kill.
Okay.
It was never proven that he murdered her, but he did go to jail for
being
a potential hit
somehow.
Yeah, and I think he spent 9 years in jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then he just goes right back to it.
Yeah, but as soon as he was released from prison, he needed work because he was also addicted to drugs, and Mike hired him to clean at Fantasy Adult Videos. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was a floor cleaner and Mike was his supervisor. The day of the attack, records show Mike drove to the coast, checked into a motel with a credit card, then after a few hours returned to Portland that afternoon, then spent $339 on a Magnum revolver. So he's an idiot. He's leaving a trail everywhere.
Yeah.
2 days after the attack, on the 8th of September, the media started pumping out the story everywhere. And the backpack with all of the incriminating evidence linking Mike to the attack was already in the hands of the police. So Mike was kind of screwed. So on the 8th of September, Mike decides to leave a suicide note at his dad's house where he was currently staying, saying, all I ever wanted was to be loved, and every time I had it, I fucked it up. You're an idiot. Like, don't try to kill your wife. How
every
about that?
time you had it, you burped.
Just seriously, idiot. Then, instead of committing suicide, he immediately just went on the run.
Idiot.
Yeah. He's a coward. Obviously, this resulted in police putting out a warrant and a wanted notice. The 13th of September at 10 a.m., the police just happened to find Mike sitting in a car park at a medical centre after Mike claimed he was going to admit himself into a psych ward. He was quoted as saying, I have nothing to live for anymore. Well, yeah, no duh. You tried killing your wife. Mm-hmm. After 11 hours of being under a psych evaluation hold, he was arrested for conspiracy to murder. Thank God. Mm-hmm. After arresting Mike, it was revealed that he'd previously tried to have 3 other people do the hit on Susan before finding Haffey.
Oh my God.
And I think in the end he paid Haffey $5,000, which is super cheap for a hit. I read somewhere that like the cheapest you can pay for a hit, I think, is $10,000.
Yeah, but I think we're talking about someone who's got a drug addiction
Well, that's
problem.
the thing. This guy would have taken probably less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but according to the 3 other people he asked, he offered $5,000 and they were like, no, dude, not $5,000.
Yeah.
Like, are you stupid? Yeah, so it took 3 people before he got to Haffey. So it's super, super premeditated. Like, what a idiot.
Reminds me of that tattoo shop in Mornington, and it's got a sign on the window that says,
oh, yeah.
good work ain't cheap. Cheap work ain't good.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen that before too. Sponsor us.
No, I think they're closed. They've had a for lease sign on their window for like
yikes.
ages.
Okay, sorry guys. Well, obviously their work was cheap. Maybe.
Or too expensive.
All too expensive. We don't know. Further evidence found no one broke into the house on the day of the attack. The alarm system wasn't tampered with either.
So he had a key?
No, he knew the code because it was his old house.
Oh,
it was the same code as their anniversary.
Ed.
Oh, no, sorry. I think he let Ed in.
Right.
He was like, you wait here. I'm going to leave this note. I'm going to go up to the coast. Yeah, so he literally let Ed in. So Mike was losing everything in the divorce, but if Susan had have died before the divorce actually cleared, he would have gotten the house. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So through the divorce, he was losing house, losing wife, losing half of everything.
Yeah,
but
and living.
That's
with his
why
dad.
he was trying to do this hit before the divorce was actually officially filed.
But it doesn't look suspicious at all, does it?
Yeah, what an idiot. What
an
timing.
idiot.
Like, how do you get away with that? Now, Susan officially filed for a divorce the day after Mike was arrested. So she was like, let's get this job done.
Let's get it done quick.
Get him out of my life.
Yep.
In court, Susan read her victim impact statement to Mike. You were willing for me to share your small, miserable life until death we did part. The sooner the better, as it turns out. I am damaged by what you have done to me. I am damaged, but I am not destroyed. Yes, girl. Mm-hmm. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 10 years. Susan then sued him for $1 million, so he wouldn't be able to afford to pay for another hitman. Because you can do that through jail, like in jail. Idiot. As with a majority of survivor stories, the victim / survivor, which is Suzanne in this case, it's not obviously a happy ending. She was super paranoid. I remember reading that she learned how to shoot gun. Like she got a gun license. When she'd go to restaurants and stuff, she'd make sure to sit facing the front door. She moved house and made a garden with pebbles surrounding the perimeter so she could hear people approaching.
Wow.
Yeah, there were like all these like strategy she was doing to make herself feel safe.
Yeah.
Turns out she didn't have to worry because 92 days before Mike's sentence ended, he just died in jail.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
This is a crazy story. I love it.
Too much Diet Coke.
Yeah, potential diabetes, or was that Heffy? No, but I think it's great. Look, that's the end of the story, but I just loved how like movie it was. She's just if you honestly guys Google a photo of her, she looks like a little nonna.
Really?
She's like the most unassuming woman.
Wow.
She looks like your average Carol or Karen or Brenda down the street.
Wow.
She's just so, you would not know that she'd pack a punch and be able to like choke a guy to death who's on crazy amount of cocaine.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was on so much cocaine, it was like a near lethal dose. He was so close to overdosing on this amount.
Oh my God.
That's why he just kept getting up and was able to, but yeah, she strangled him to death, which is so hardcore.
So hardcore.
Like manual strangulation. I just think it's great.
Wow.
I love this story so much. Yeah, so that's it.
Dude, we've had so many amazing
She's so
women,
great.
haven't we?
She's so good.
In our stories.
So good. I love
hope
it.
she's doing well today.
So do I. I'm sure she is. She sounds like she's the type of woman that would be like, all right, next chapter. Love it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that.
That's okay.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good one. Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to find out what ape caves are. So we're going to come back with that next week.
Okay.
The hell's an ape cave? Okay. So, my one's a little bit mixed.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's kind of like, it's a bit up and down. It's got some depressing parts. It's got some kind of like weird parts. What I'm doing is theme park tragedies and hauntings.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, the one that I'm going to start with is quite close to home.
Oh, Luna Park?
No. Has there been a tragedy at Luna Park?
I don't know. Probably.
I'm surprised it
Have you seen
hasn't.
the
That
Mad Mouse or what's the white one called?
oh my god, that is literally like 100 years
That's
old.
my
that
favourite
roller
ride
coaster.
there.
It's.
The Scenic Railway.
I'm surprised it hasn't fallen down.
It's terrifying. That's the thrill of it.
It's so rickety.
Yeah, the wood is physically soft.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It's just damp.
Anyway, it's gonna fall down one day. I swear to God. But people just keep going on it.
And we'll be there with our little Ghostbuster box.
Yeah. Not
Right.
$50,000 Gaga one.
Yeah.
It'd be like an app, a free app. Okay, let's begin in, you'll know this, Dream World,
Ugh.
Queensland.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? You guys
Yeah.
remember this? It's awful.
There's no ghost related to this accident, is there? Or are you just...
No, I'm doing
You're just
tragedies,
recapping.
and sometimes there's a
Oh,
haunting
okay,
to
cool.
do
I was
with
going to
it.
say, that's fast haunting.
Well, if there is a haunting about this, I'm not sure I've heard about it yet.
Okay.
So, Dreamworld, which is up in Queensland,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of our northern states, was built.
It's like the Florida of Australia.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Jersey Shore, the Gold Coast.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Dreamworld in Queensland is one of Australia's largest theme parks, although its popularity has waned in recent years. And we'll get to why a little bit later. And I remember going there when I was about 8 and thinking
same.
it was fabulous.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
But I think it's probably one of those places, if we went back now, we'd probably think this is a bit lame.
I'd
or
have a
bit...
panic attack. My germaphobe side would just come out and I'd have to sanitize my hands and my feet and everything.
Yeah, with fire. So, Dreamworld has sections to it such as Gold Rush Country, Ocean Parade, Rocky Hollow, and Tiger Island. So a lot of people, they'll go up there and they'll have their photo taken with the tiger and that kind of thing. One thing that has happened as far as hauntings are concerned is at the Buzzsaw roller coaster, which was opened in 2011. They say sightings of a ghostly man have occurred on clear nights and often during a full moon. They say the man is named Jack Dark with an E on the end. What?
That's just the most typical ghost name.
I suppose so. And he has attached himself to the Buzzsaw for the following reason. Warning, description of violent death ahead.
Okay.
It's one of my stories. Surprise! So Jack Dark was apparently a gold prospector back in the late 1800s. He was a miller who went to Australia from the UK in 1888, and as many people did back then at the time, to look for gold. Mm-hmm. However, his gold rush dreams didn't quite go to plan, and he did not strike it lucky. So he took a job working at the local sawmill. So yeah, it's going to get unpleasant. Mm-hmm. In 1897, Jack was apparently a hardworking man who kept to himself, and there are two versions of his death, or how it came about. The first is that he had tried to burn the mill down.
Okay.
The second is that another man attempted to burn the mill down, and Jack had physically tried to stop him.
Yep.
However, in both versions, Jack ended up being either pushed into or pulled into the timber saw, resulting in his unfortunate death. Some say he has even appeared next to people on the ride.
Okay, I have a few questions.
Okay.
Was the timber mill in the same location as where this ride is, or is he just...
Well, that's what I've written here. I said what I'd like to know is, was the Buzzsaw ride built in reference to the old sawmill?
It's really weird.
Or was the whole story made up as a gimmick for the ride?
I think it's a gimmick.
I don't know. It's Dreamworld. It's not Ghost World.
No, but it's like Jack Dark only comes out on a full moon.
It could very well be just a load
I don't know.
of crap.
Give us
Crap with an E.
a real average name like Ethan Tremblay. That's not average, is it? No, I don't want to name a real person that I know. Like Like
Scott
Randall.
Donnelly.
A real like embarrassing name like Clive or Glenn.
Nigel.
Yeah. Nigel Phelps. That's not a
Nigel
spooky
Phelps.
name.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'd believe that, but Jack Dark. I don't know.
No. Okay.
It's a little bit cringe. I mean, I
Yeah.
wish it was real. Just seems a bit too good to be true.
Yeah. I don't know. If
We'll
anyone's
just
from
go and we'll
Queensland,
do
if
it.
anyone's from Queensland and they know anything about this story, please message us because we actually really would like to know.
I'd like to do a
this a-
Ouija board on the ride.
On the ride.
Yeah.
That's a logistical nightmare.
Let's do it.
I don't go on rides.
Well,
No.
for the podcast.
I'll film it from the ground.
You'll film me on the ride by myself trying to do a Ouija board
My
by
husband will
myself.
go on the ride with you.
With a
He
candle.
loves roller coasters. With a candle. Oh my God. It's not going to work.
Oh, the candle blew out. It's here. All right, continue.
Okay. Another thing that has happened at Dreamworld is the haunting of the Big Brother house.
Oh, yes.
So some countries still have Big Brother.
Yeah.
But Australia, it kind of dropped off the bandwagon.
It dropped off after that crazy guy walked down the red carpet with the Save the Refugees or something.
Oh.
Do you remember? Oh, no. It phased out after the sexual assault happened on camera.
Oh,
Remember
that
the turkey slapping?
Was it called donkey flipping or something?
Turkey slapping.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, not donkeys. Donkey
Flipping.
flipping.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember it happening and I was a kid and my mum had to explain it to me. I'm like, Mum, why is it called turkey slapping? Just like, now, Ed, when a lady and a man love each other and
Or
it's
don't.
consensual, it's fine to do this, but no, it was consensual. It wasn't consensual. Definitely was not.
Either way, it was stupid.
Yeah. Channel 10, what are you doing?
So anyway, one thing I didn't know was that our Big Brother house was not only used by Big Brother Australia, but it's also used as the set for the Indian version.
What?
Which is called Big Boss. Which I thought was cool, but it has no relation to this actual story.
Wait, so would they do filming while also in the theme park?
Well, the house is in the theme park, but it's like walled off.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Random.
So the show debuted in 2001 and apparently staff and crew working on the show have seen a little girl walking in the corridors.
Yes.
They've heard her whispering voice and they've seen her reflection in mirrors.
Well, aren't they two-way mirrors? Can't they just get footage of that?
True.
I have all these questions.
You're ruining my story.
Sorry.
She's shut down all my stories. And apparently there's also a weird fog that appears around the set. This story is failing. Okay.
I just can't take it seriously because it's in Queensland.
Yeah, true. If this was in like Salem or,
In
like
the Big Brother house.
somewhere like colonial
That
or
would be the
something.
most bogan ghost.
Yeah.
And the most bogan fog.
Bogan fog.
That's the name of the episode.
No, I think it's donkey flipping.
Donkey flipping bogan fog. That's a hard one to say. Anyway, continue.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier that numbers have been declining at Dreamworld in recent years, with some even describing it as a ghost town these days. It is largely due to a really awful tragedy that took place in October 2016 when there was a technical issue causing one of the rides, which was the Thunder River Rapids ride. One of the rafts in the ride flipped over.
Yeah, it's
and
horrible.
it crushed and drowned 4 passengers.
Oof.
Kate Goodchild, aged 32, her brother Luke Dorset, who was 35, his partner Ruzi Aragi, 38, and another woman, Cindy Lowe, who was 42. They all died as a result of the incident. However, Kate's daughter, who was 12, and Cindy's son, who was 10, were thrown from the raft and survived the accident.
Oof.
miraculously, although they suffered emotional trauma, obviously, as a result. After 31 days of testimony, the inquest found the Dreamworld executives had stopped funding repairs and maintenance on the ride in the months before the incident. And staff were only given 90 minutes of training before operating the ride. And the operator that day was a new trainee that had been trained just that morning.
No.
And the inquest is actually continuing. There's been so many delays. So while we're on the subject of tragedies in theme parks, let me tell you some others to entice you to never take a roller coaster ride ever again.
Yes, please.
Are you a ride person?
I used to be, but now I can't even sit in the passenger seat of a car because I'll vomit.
Really?
I have to be driving a car.
You get motion sickness?
I get such bad motion sickness.
Really?
Legit.
How did you go going to the Broken Hill Festival?
I drove.
Oh, okay. Right.
No, my best friend, he drove for about 4 meters and almost crashed the car. So I had no option but to drive.
That sounds like a
But
story
oh god, fun drive. Oh yeah, yeah, good weekend.
Was that Manny?
Yeah, it was Manny. Shout out to Spoilt Crybaby. Yeah, no, he cannot drive.
Oh, poor Manny.
No, poor me.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
Okay. So the scary thing is there's actually quite a few of these theme park ride accidents.
Do you think they kind of cover it quite well?
I don't know if they're covered. I think they're probably just talked about on the news briefly and then it just kind of goes away.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense.
So in 1972, 31 people were riding the Big Dipper ride at Battersea Park in the UK. The wooden train containing 3 cars were being pulled uphill facing the track. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
The wooden train containing 3 cars were being pulled up the uphill facing track.
Okay.
The train broke away from the track as it was going uphill and the cars rolled backwards.
Oh, can you imagine? Oh, I'm getting shivers.
Yeah, but at this point, people were probably going, oh, it's part of the ride.
No, I don't think you would. I think you'd feel the jolt and you'd be like, yeah, this is...
Something's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. The brake technician tried to correct the situation, but the last car derailed and fell into the crossbeams of the roller coaster, killing 5 people and injuring 13.
Ugh.
It was the worst roller coaster tragedy in history at the time.
Ooh, yikes.
In 1984, the haunted castle at Six Flags in New Jersey caught fire. Inside was a group of 9 teenagers, 8 of whom...
Oh my God.
8 of whom died of smoke inhalation because they were trapped inside. The firefighters had trouble differentiating between prop mannequins and actual human bodies.
Oh my God. Imagine dying...
Such were their injuries.
Imagine dying in a haunted house attraction. Imagine not knowing if it was part of the...
True. I think with a lot of these, at first, people are probably going to be thinking this is part of the ride.
Totally.
Or this is part of the experience.
There were screams and smoke.
Yeah. You're in kind of a state of confusion
because
anyway.
There's already screams and
exactly
smoke.
Yeah. There's probably going to be some sort of smoke happening anyway.
Nah, that's a nightmare.
And I also kind of think a lot of the things in these places like mannequins and costumes and fittings and things, they're going to be made of flammable materials.
Totally. And you feel, I don't know if it's with you as well, but you kind of feel quite safe going in one of those haunted houses because it's so badly done. They do it 100 times a day and
True.
The costumes are old and you can see people wandering around in black suits and it's these people know what they're doing because they've had to do it so often.
Yeah, they literally do this all the time.
Yeah,
so
the
you
pop
put your
outs.
trust in
Yeah,
them.
you can see dust and stuff because it's so old and they don't really care.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes sense that if there was a fire to start, those places are usually so kind of neglected anyway.
Yeah.
So,
dusty.
Exactly.
Back in the UK, we've got a tragic case of 16-year-old Hayley Williams in 2004. at Oakwood Park in Wales. The ride is a roller coaster called the Hydro, which is a very steep track that ends in a pool of water.
I thought you were going to say a pool of blood.
No, sorry. Hayley was riding the Hydro when she was thrown from her carriage.
Oh.
So the top of the ride goes around like a really, it's kind of like a semicircle, if you can imagine, before going down.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of like force before you go down the hill.
Exactly.
You're being kind of like thrown around the corner.
Exactly. So she went so fast that she was thrown from the carriage and she fell 100 feet into the water below as her family watched helplessly.
What?
Mm-hmm. The park was fined £250,000 after a report found employees were not carrying out the necessary safety checks of the passengers'
So
restraints.
obviously she was either too small or they just kind of like plopped her in and was like, there you go, here's your seatbelt.
Yeah.
Really roughly done.
They didn't sort of tick all the boxes
that
they were supposed to do. And it goes back to that, we do this
sad.
100 times a day. Nothing's ever happened before.
Yeah, well, that's
Why
it.
would it happen now?
They're probably teenagers who hate their jobs.
Potentially. Yep. The ride is still open to this day against the wishes of Hayley's family.
Yeah, a bit disrespectful.
It has been renamed Drenched. So they just changed the name, basically.
But the name is so disrespectful because she fell into the water. That's worse.
It's pretty bad.
Drenched.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yep. Another ride that stays open to this day despite tragedy is the Mindbender roller coaster. And this one's in Canada at the West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah.
The ride has 3 huge loops and was believed to be one of the safest rides in the world until June 1986, when one of the roller coaster cars, which went up to 60 miles per hour, derailed and hit a pillar. Its 4 passengers were thrown from the ride and fell 25 feet to the ground, and 3 of them died. The ride closed for a year, but after safety issues were addressed, reopened and still operates today.
Why?
I don't know.
Imagine being like, yeah, this ride has killed 3 people, but, you know, we replaced some of the screws. You guys are going to be fine.
I guess it's revenue, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how much do you think it costs to buy a ride, to develop
I know, that's
a
a
ride?
thing. That's a thing.
I
But
have no
surely,
idea.
like, you could just take it down and replace it with, like, a food stand. Because you're paying for the fee of the park anyway. You're not paying for individual rides a lot of the time, aren't you? Don't you pay, like, a ticketing price and then you're in? So I just feel like they could just
True. Yeah, true.
take apart the ride, put something else there, and they're still making the same money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just laziness.
So going over to southeastern China now, at Eco Venture Valley in June 2010, an accident took place on the Space Journey ride in Shenzhen. This is a simulated rocket launch ride.
Great.
Involving 11 spinning capsules. Which
Awesome.
Actually sounds quite cool, actually.
No, it sounds terrible.
Really?
Oh, a rocket takeoff?
I like kind
So
of
where
like...
are you going to go? So if it pumps you up into the air and then stops, you're going to like...
Anyway. Over 40 people were on the ride when one of the capsules detached.
No.
And crashed into the other carriages before falling 50 feet to the ground.
50 feet.
That's high.
Yeah.
6 people were killed in this tragic accident and 10 others were injured.
God.
It is pretty awful.
It is so bad.
Yeah. And over in the US now, because how can we not mention Disney?
Oh, I'm excited.
This was a behind-the-scenes accident that took place at Disneyland. Debbie Stone was a hostess at the America Sings attraction. Debbie was 18 years old, and in 1974, she got caught between a wall and a rotating theatre wall.
Oh my God.
And she was crushed to death.
I wonder what theme the theatre wall was. Like, can you imagine slowly being crushed to death to like
I'm
one of those
seeing-
horrible Disney songs.
I'm seeing a meadow with flowers.
I'm seeing Under the Sea by the
Little Mermaid.
Yeah. That fish just like singing into your face as you're being smushed is a nightmare.
Yeah, that's depressing.
I'm not a Disney
That
fan,
is-
so
no,
like
neither have I. I know.
Really?
I think Disney's quite evil.
Oh, well,
We
I
should
just
do a
think it's
Disney
Nazi Disney.
conspiracy. There's so many conspiracies. So many.
Okay, let's do it.
I heard a conspiracy that because there's a theory that Walt Disney was frozen.
Yeah.
Like, so when the technology is
He'll
right
he'd be defrosted and
and
he'll
brought back
be-
to life.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. I still believe it a little bit.
So, but what happens if you Google the words Disney Frozen now?
It's the movie.
Exactly. It's a deflector.
It's a deflector.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. So,
And they've just bought the rights to Star Wars. So what does that tell you about Area 51?
oh my god.
Area 51. It's coming back
Yes.
again. It's coming back again.
Deflector.
Deflector.
Dude. We've cracked the code.
We have cracked the code here in this little studio in Mornington. The men in black are definitely going to come after us. That's okay.
Looking behind me.
I'm going to
at the windows,
I'm going to attack every businessman I see now in a suit.
You can always tell because they kind of got like a dodgy shade of lipstick on.
Yeah, and they don't have
to
eyebrows.
hide the fact that they're aliens.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay. We need to do more conspiracies.
Okay.
We have to. Okay, so Debbie.
Yeah.
Debbie. The attraction was later assessed for safety improvements to make sure this never happened again. However, later staff members said that they heard Debbie's ghost warning them, be careful if they got close to the walls.
Ugh.
Another haunted ride at Disneyland came after a 1984 accident on the Matterhorn ride. A girl called Regina Young was killed on the ride when an oncoming bobsled collided with hers.
What?
And it turned out her safety belt was unbuckled.
Oh.
Although we don't know if she forgot to do it up or if it just came undone during the accident.
Yuck.
Regina was known by the name Dolly by her friends and family. So the part of the ride where the accident happened became known as Dolly's Dip.
Ugh.
And staff say that they feel like they are being watched when they do her end of the day checks, that when they do their end of the day checks of the area.
Dolly's Dip. That's a spooky one.
Yep. And with Debbie as well, I remember reading that Debbie, they sort of see Debbie as being kind of like a guardian angel to the staff that works there.
That's nice.
Now, there was so much information about this that I actually wrote end of part 1.
I love, yes, there's more. I love it.
So I'm going to do more in the future.
Please
I don't think it'll be
do.
like next episode, but I think I'm definitely going to revisit this subject
I
because
love
there
it.
was so much stuff.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
So it's
Love
just a bit.
Love this topic.
And yeah, and there was lots of other kind of like haunting stuff at parks as well. So I really want to come back to this subject and
I love it.
Yeah.
That is the coolest.
Thank you.
I'm really passionate about this.
But also it'll be interesting to see when the actual court case for the Dream World tragedy
it's really sad. I
actually
couldn't believe
ends.
that's 2016. It feels like last year.
No, it's 3 years ago this
That's
month.
nuts.
Yeah.
What?
It'll be really interesting to see
that poor kid.
what happens. And I mean, I wouldn't want to go back to Dream World after that, would you?
No, I don't plan on going back there. Just because I think it's a little bit gross. Not specifically because of the death, but I don't know. It's just like, you know,
is it because it's really 80s?
No, I just went when I was a kid, and I remember it was just so many tourists, but like Australian tourists.
Yeah.
And I want to avoid that at all costs.
And you equate that with bacteria.
Yeah, a little bit. Just like...
What if they were all Danish?
Just large masses of people
Okay.
sweating in Queensland heat.
True. Yeah.
With like little kids everywhere.
Gripping onto...
Screaming kids with like parents that are pissed off because they have to stand in lines for the whole day.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like a headache. If a headache was a physical place. It would be Dreamworld. Or is it movie? Where are we? Dreamworld?
It was Dreamworld, Movie World, Sea World. Then there's like Wet n Wild. That's another one up there.
Oh, yeah. That's Nightmare Land for me because I can't swim.
Oh, I would love to go there.
I've been there.
You've been there?
Yeah, and
you can't swim?
No, I can't swim.
Oh, babe, we gotta sort that out.
No, it's too late for me.
You live by the beach. It's never too late.
It is too late. You can't teach an old dog to swim. Is that a thing?
No, I think you can.
I don't know. I can't swim at all. I can't even put my head under the water in the shower. I have to have like my face. Yeah.
I wonder if that goes back to a past life experience.
Oh, it's just because I've got a deformed ear and I was never able to really swim with it. So I don't know how to put my head under the water.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I could have drowned as a kid in the past life or something. Or I could have been completely opposite and been like a whale. Like a sea urchin. That's what my nickname was as a baby, was the sea urchin, because I cling on to things.
That's weird.
Anyway, guys.
Anyway, thank you for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. It was a good one.
Fridgies.
Yeah. Fridgies, Fridgos, Fridgeroonies. No, that's too similar to Murderinos.
I like Fridgeroonies. That's classic. Ooh. What about like
ice cubes?
What about like Zupa Dupas?
Oh,
that's a very Australian thing.
Are they Zupa Dupas? Or are they Super Dupas? I can't remember.
I think they're Zupa Dupas.
Super Dupas?
Okay. No, we'd probably get sued for that.
Yeah. Fridgeroonies?
I like
ice cubes.
I like ice cubes.
Hey, popsicles.
Cold beers.
VBs.
We're going to have to keep thinking.
Oh, what funds this place? Jetty Road Brewery.
Oh, Jetty Road Brewery.
Little stubbies.
Stubbies.
Hey, stubby bubbies.
6-packs.
Hey, your Aldi butter. Aldi sausages.
There's too many potential sponsors out there.
Hey, little raviolis from Coles.
Hey, unidentified food stuff with mold.
Hey, lunch that I forgot to pack. Now I have to steal someone from work's lunch.
Anyway, we'll get there. We will get there one day.
Yeah, we will. Anyway.
Send us your spooky stories.
Yeah,
Tell us if you're from Queensland, if the story of Jack Dark is real.
Yes. And also I apologise if you're from Queensland. Just because you're from Queensland. No, that's not true. It's a beautiful place. You guys are beautiful people. I'm just very critical.
Okay, let's just leave it there, man. Let's just leave it there. Until next week, you've been listening to episode 4 of I Think My Fridge is Haunted.
Oh
I know, 4 whole episodes.
Oh, another 500 to go until we're smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yes. This is Nathan.
We got an audience?
Nathan is our is an exec producer.
Oh.
And he's just popped in to say hi. I introduced him
Be
to
nice
Esther.
to Nathan.
You know he can hear you out there, right?
Really?